Hi everyone, welcome and thank you so much for joining me for this practice. If this is your first time here, my name is Katie and today we're doing a deep stretch for your hips in order to gain flexibility. This is an intermediate practice, so this is going to be perfect if you already have a base of flexibility and now you want to go deeper in your yoga practice. If that's not you yet, don't worry, I have lots of videos that will help you to open up your hips, and I'll leave those in the description bar below. If you are interested in flexibility, please consider subscribing to the channel. I have lots of videos on flexibility, especially in this playlist, and I have lots more coming as well. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up at the end. Otherwise, you can go ahead and get ready. We'll meet back here on the mat. We'll begin our practice today sitting on the mat, so you can find whatever way is most comfortable to sit. And once you're there, you might just soften your gaze or maybe close your eyes. Just noticing how we're feeling today, starting to bring a little bit of length into your spine, relaxing your shoulders, loosen your jaw, and relax your facial muscles. And starting to tap into your breath, maybe pulling a deep breath in through your nostrils, filling up your belly and your chest. And as you exhale back out through your nostrils, emptying the belly and the chest again. Continue breathing like this, breathing in relaxation and breathing out any stress or tension that might be caught up in the body today. The hardest part is over now that you made it onto your mat. So take a moment just to thank yourself for showing up. Our focus today is to go deep in both our body and our mind, uncovering whatever stress or tension is in there and just taking the time to get it out of the body and the mind. So imagine your breath is like a light as it goes into your body. It shines on those tensions or those worries. And then it takes it out of your body with each exhalation. We'll try to keep up this pattern of breathing, but we'll move into our first pose so you can slowly start to open your eyes. And we'll make our way into extended child's pose. So you can keep your big toes together, take your knees out nice and wide to get that deep hip stretch, and then reach your hands towards the front of the mat if that feels best for you, and you can lower your head onto the ground. So before we settle into the pose here, you might just roll your forehead against the mat. Checking in on that jaw again, make sure it hasn't clenched. Relax your facial muscles and just drop all of your muscles down into the mat. Finding wherever child's pose is finding you. So tapping into that tension that you're feeling, send your breath down into it, shine the light on it, and exhale to get it out of your body. We'll try to hold this pose for a minute or two, giving the body time to warm up and to open up. So just try your best to enjoy this stillness and this quiet time with yourself. Stay with your breath as much as you can, just following it in and out. And anytime you notice yourself in some thoughts, just try your best to stop those thoughts. Come back to your breath. Now you can break your own stillness here, maybe rolling your forehead over and back across the mat, giving it a gentle massage. Checking in on your jaw one more time. It's surprising how quickly it can clench up again when we stop paying attention to it. We'll use our next breath in to slowly pick ourselves back up. From here, we'll come into frog pose. So you might take a blanket to support your knees here. They might come off the mat and onto the floor, which wouldn't be so comfortable. Another option here would be just to turn sideways so you still have the mat beneath your knees. So just like we did for child's pose, we'll start by bringing our big toes together and the knees nice and wide. You can extend your hands towards the front of the mat. This time interlock your fingers so your forearms are pressing down. We'll inhale to lift our hips off the mat. Now bring your ankles in line with your knees and have your toes pointing out, so away from your body. And you can check in to make sure you have that straight line between ankles and knees. Now when you're ready, nice and mindfully, you might start to just sink your hips back down slightly. So we're really checking in on our body as we go here, surfing our edges and not going any further than the body is inviting us to go. So again, we'll stay here for a couple of minutes, giving the body again enough time to open up and find that deep stretch. So if you feel comfortable here, you can relax your gaze, maybe close your eyes. Find your breath, sending deep breaths into that tightness within your hips. Tapping into our breath now, sending it deep into your hips, releasing that tightness, and as you exhale, it's leaving your body. As your hips start to open a little bit, they might invite you to come a little bit deeper into the pose. And if they do, you can slowly start to encourage your hips down and back a little bit more. always respecting the limitations of the body. And it's in times like this that we can gain flexibility of the mind as well. We often get maybe tunnel vision or just stuck in some idea. And often in yoga, that idea is creating this perfect shape, quote unquote. So just give yourself flexibility in your mind to know that you don't have to create anything. It doesn't matter how it looks, we're focusing always on how it feels. And just a few more breaths now. Make them the best breaths you've taken so far, going a little bit deeper than our previous breaths have been. And each time you exhale, really getting rid of whatever needs to go from the hips. We'll prepare to come out of frog pose now, so nice and gently start to open your eyes. You can move as slowly as you need to here. It might feel helpful to come back onto your hands. Start to bring those big toes back towards each other, and then just sit back into your child's pose for a moment. Big breath out here. Next inhalation can pick you back up again, making our way back to sit on the mat. And when you're there, you can bring both of your legs out long in front of you. So we'll give them a moment just to settle again. You might shake them off. Notice how your hips are feeling. And now from here, we'll make our way into shoelace pose. So we'll start by bringing the right foot all the way over to the outside of the left hip. So this is half shoelace. You might be happy just to stay here today, and that's fine. If you want to come into the full shoelace, we're bending this left knee to bring your left foot back to the outside of your right hip. So we want to take a moment to find our sit bones here, and you can wiggle around until you can feel them pressing into the mat. So here we are in our full shoelace, a really good hip opener. It does take a little while to get settled into the pose, so you might be feeling really tight here, and that's normal. So we'll just give ourselves some time here in this pose. So again, you might relax your gaze or close your eyes. Bring a little bit of length again into your spine. Relax your shoulders, loosen your jaw, relax your facial muscles again. Finding your breath, sending it deep, deep into your belly. Feel the rise of your chest, and maybe your breath even travels up into your throat. And exhaling to empty the entire body. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. If you are in your full shoelace and you find that it's just not for you, that's fine. Come on back into a half shoelace. Now, if you want to take this pose a little bit further, we can come into a fold. So you can start to hinge at your hips, walk your hands away from you, Try to keep your spine as straight as you can, but you can drop your head if that feels good. And again here, if you've come into the fold but it's not feeling fantastic, just come on back up to a straight spine. So we might really be digging up some residue from the hips here. Use your breath to help clean it out. If your mind has drifted away here, follow your breath. We'll just stay here for a few more cycles. And now when you're ready, your next breath in can help you to come back out of the pose. And before we undo our legs, we'll take it into a twist here. So you can bring your right hand in behind your tailbone, as close to it as you can get it. Then use that right arm to prop yourself up like a pillar here. Left arm can just come to the outside of this right thigh. We'll inhale to lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, think rotating from your waist, then your rib cage, then your neck to look back over this right shoulder. Just a few breaths here, each inhalation helping you to lengthen, each exhale helping you to twist a little bit more. Now nice and slowly we'll make our way back to center, and now you can start to undo your legs. So take your time, bring those feet back out in front of you. Legs can come nice and long, and we'll shake them off. So really feeling that release from your hips, just knowing that everything is going and getting looser. We'll take it to the other side now. So this time your left foot comes to the outside of your right hip. You can stay here in your half shoelace, or maybe you can bend this right knee as well, bringing that right foot to the outside of the left leg. Being really mindful with our knees here as well, and then finding those sit bones pressing into the mat. So once you feel settled in your shoelace, we'll close the eyes again. Lengthen up through your spine, relax your muscles. Noticing how this side is feeling. Starting to tap into these new sensations, and then send your breath down to them. If you're ready to come into the fold, if you want to do that for this practice, you can start to lengthen your spine, hinge at your hips, walk your hands away from you, and drop your head if that feels good. Really using the feelings that you're feeling to keep you anchored here. It's normal for your mind to drift away. Just take it back. Don't let it get stuck in those thoughts. Help it to be flexible. And so much of yoga is really just training our mind as well. Training it not to get caught up in the thoughts that it tends to think. Helping it always to get out of those thoughts and back to the present. And try to really enjoy your last breath here. In your own time, you can start to make your way back up into a straight spine if you're not already there. And then we'll take it to a twist. So we're bringing our left hand in behind the tailbone now. Left arm props up the spine. Right hand comes to the outside of our left thigh. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, rotate from the waist, rib cage, neck, looking back over our left shoulder. Inhaling to grow taller, exhaling to wring out any tension from your body. Starting to reverse now out of the pose, making your way back to center. You can undo your legs again, feet coming back out in front. Shake them off. And we'll really just give our legs and our hips a chance here to relax, to reset. Now we'll come on down to lie on our back, so you can sit your hips into the center of the mat and then start to return your spine back down to the ground. So you might just take a moment in Savasana here, spreading your feet and your hands away from your body. Letting all the dust settle, finding your breath again. Now we'll end our practice with a supine twist. So you can bring the sole of your right foot up onto your left thigh and then grab that knee with your left hand. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, stack your hips on top of each other, bringing your knee over towards the left and release your right arm back down to the right. Keep your right shoulder connected to the mat, and if you want more of a twist, you can look over at your right hand here. Just taking one last opportunity to wring away any tension from your hips. Each time you exhale, you might be able to encourage your knee a little bit closer to the mat. When you're ready, you can make your way out of the pose, coming back to rest on your back for a moment. Now we'll take that to the opposite side, bringing your left foot up onto your right thigh. Right hand finds the knee, left hand reaches up. Take a breath in. Exhale to stack your hips, release your arm back down to the left. Keep your left shoulder connected to the mat. You might look over at your left hand. Otherwise, just relaxing into these sensations. Left shoulder is grounded, and maybe left knee is sinking a little bit closer to the mat on each exhalation. When you're ready, come on out of the pose. Make the body long again, coming into Shavasana. And if you have any last adjustments that you need to make in order to get any last fidgets out of the body, feel free to do so. When you're ready to find your stillness, let all of your muscles drop into the mat. Feel your bones getting heavier. Loosen up your jaw, soften your face, and drop your shoulders. This is a great way to build up that muscle memory to help increase your flexibility, keeping the body open, keeping the mind open. So you can stay here for as long as you can. We'll end the video here. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. And until next time, Namaste.